that crack right there.
All right, good afternoon. So today we have a Motorcraft windshield wash pump. All right, you can see the part number, Fox 6 Sierra Uniform 17664 Delta Alpha. It's 12 volt Motorcraft. You look up here at the top, it says MES made, Swiss made. So it's got a polarity plus to the left, negative to the right. So we did an ohms check on this one here. The old one, I knew it was bad because it just didn't work, right? And we checked the relay and the fuses on the F250 2005 truck. And we wouldn't get we had no burnout fuses or anything like that. So what we got set up is our Fluke multimeter. All right, pretty much any multimeter will work. Just want to make sure you're on the ohms resistance. And when we're looking, so we got 2 pins in here, right? Just gonna zoom it in a little bit. Okay. So you want to take your other lead. Here, zoom that out. Not too far. All right, we're gonna come over here. We'll just pay attention to the probe first. So you're just gonna come in and probe that other lead. And you see on the multimeter, we got 5.1 ohms on the auto range set up. All right, so now let's go ahead and we'll switch it over to the old one. So to ensure if we know what we're doing is absolutely right. So we'll put the old one in the vise here, just gently. We're not trying to crush anything. Okay, 1 second here. Okay, we got it held in there just enough. So we're going to take a red lead, just kind of get in there, hold it in. And we're going to come in here, we're going to probe the other lead. All right, we're at over 20 ohms. All right, so that's a bad pump. All right, too many ohms. Something's burned up inside this motor here. The coil itself, field windings, is bad, causing too much resistance. It's lucky, like the fuse didn't actually blow, but it's a pretty hefty fuse that's in the truck. So it actually controls the wiper motor to automate, and it allows your pump to operate too. So, and that one is found for the 2005 underneath the hood, up by the brake booster. It's not underneath the dash, underneath the steering wheel. So it'd be actually be into the back by the brake booster. We'll carry on out to the vehicle once we head out there for some more filming, but go ahead and follow along. All right, so now as you can see, as you followed along, we have our windshield wash bottle reservoir. All right, so let's go take a look here inside the truck where it goes. All right, it goes inside right here. All right, we got a couple of bolts. Obviously, first thing you got to do is take the battery off. All right, you got cables here. You're going to need 8 mil and 13 mil. So we got over here 2 13 mil bolts. That's the heads of the bolts, and we have one here and here. And for the reservoir, the 13 mil bolts hold the bracket in. So right now I'm putting on some rubberized spray on that to ensure that it doesn't get all rusty again. We had some issues with some of these bolts, so I took them off. wire brushed them and I put some anti-seize on them. So when we get back in here, we'll just hit that with a little bit of anti-seize here and clean those up as best as possible. But you're gonna have 3 locations for the windshield wash reservoir. Here, right here, right here, and you have one located right down here. All right, and those are going to be 8 mil. So if you have issues with taking the battery terminals off, you may need a screwdriver. But like I said, you need an 8 mil for the battery terminal. You shouldn't over tighten them. Put some sort of grease over the lead terminal to prevent corrosion. I've used like a zinc type grease, and you can see I have absolutely no corrosion on my battery terminals, and this truck's a 2005. You just don't want to put it, you don't want to put the grease on the inside right here, but just put the grease around it, so when the battery has venting, acidification, as you can see what happens, that's the acid. When it boils or leaks out, it contacts the metal, and that's where you get this type of rust. And what we want to do is make sure you cover that with grease so you don't get the corrosion to start from the acidification of the battery venting. Sometimes you can just lay like a towel over top of your battery. All right, so you have your battery right here. You could just lay a little towel in here, and what it'll do, it'll catch all the atoms as it releases out of the battery, and it'll actually prevent it from or slow down the where it attracts to the metal and causes corrosion, causes rust. So just a little FYI there. So we'll get back in here to installing our motor. All right, so the old one, we'll just take a look at this right now. It just presses in there like so, and I'm gonna take this O-ring off. Second. Okay, as you can see, that's your little filtered O-ring, and it has a barb end on it. And it's going to set down here like so. The only really special tool you may need is a screwdriver, flat tip, and you'll just probably get up in here and kind of work it up out of here. All right, and that's really all you should need for that, because it's going to set in here like so. I went to Ford today, and I went to one dealer, and they said this was like $35, and they didn't have it. So I went to the next Ford dealer, and they charged me like $56. So it is what it is when it comes to that. All right, when you do this, you try not to spill out all your fluid. All right, so it's simple as we'll just go ahead and just pop it into this location, and we'll be golden. Okay. Obviously, when we get it seated in there, we want to make sure it's seated, and you want to obviously check to make sure you don't have any leaks, because you don't want to find out you have a leak once you put this back in. All right, we'll follow along next, and we'll see how we come along. Okay, so what you want to do next is go ahead and just put your strainer O-ring in. So we got that done. And then we'll go ahead and we'll take our new motor. All right. And I got OEM stuff. I don't really care to get the AutoZone and stuff, you know, the junk that you get from AutoZone. And just want to get the OEM stuff. So it's your preference. But with me, I'm just going to go ahead and put the correct stuff in here. So it's like I said before, you just go ahead and put that in, push it down, and you'll just work that in there until it actually seats. Okay. All right. All right, we got it seated. All right, we can see we're leaking some fluid out from the motor, but we'll go ahead and just keep this tilted up as best as possible so we're not leaking a ton of fluid. A lot of this is just water that I had in here because when it was not working, I didn't have any windshield fluid and washed it at the time, so I just used the water. Other than that, it's really simple. We'll just hook the hose back up and we'll connect the wiring, and we'll come back up here to the truck and I'll show you the wire. So the wire is located right down here. Yeah, you'd want to get some sort of dielectric grease to put on here. Double check your wires here because it does make a hard bend right here. You don't want to have a broken wire or anything like that, so be cautious. The hose is right here. Like I said, I just tucked it up out of the way so it wouldn't leak all that coolant. That windshield wash fluid back out the hose and make a mess. And that's really all it is. Go ahead and install everything back in, and check for leaks. We'll check for operations and all that. That should wrap up your windshield wash pump. And then, replace your battery tray, install your battery. Make sure you install your positives first and your negatives last, so you don't arc out like right here on your charge pipe and cause any type of arcing. Other than that, it's really smooth operation, guys. Got any questions, comments, concerns? Like I said, I'm going to put a bunch of anti-seize on these fasteners that go here to hold everything down to slow down the corrosion, so I don't have any issues. Like I said, this truck is a 2005 with a 6-liter diesel. It only has 93,000 miles on it. I want to keep it as nice as possible. Other than that, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. It's been a while since I posted any decent videos. Like I said, other than that, follow me in the builds or other videos I have, and we'll see you later. All right, so now we got your hose here installed to the pump. So I'm gonna make sure it's not leaking. All right, you don't have any leaks. It's good, and we got it held up. No leaks so far. I'm gonna reach down here and grab the wire. Okay. Just gonna route the wire up into the best position. And let me go ahead and get the camera. So we're gonna hook the motor wire and harness into the motor pump and give it a nice click. Like I said, you just want to make sure you don't have any broken wires right there. It could be a bad spot. The way it just routes inside here, and like I said, it's just going to drop right in. Okay, there we go. Just drops right into place, and you can't access the pump from up underneath the fender skirt. All right, just not going to happen because the pump is actually right behind your headlight. I know my headlights are really bad, but yeah, it was simple enough. If you have your battery terminals like over cranked down to like the end of time, you're going to probably spend more time taking your terminals off, removing the battery, dealing with the battery hold down bolt that's probably rusted into the plate that holds your battery in place. It's probably corroded way worse than mine was. I had a little bit of corrosion on it. It's like, what can you expect? It's 2005, you're going to get a little bit. But next thing we need to do is go ahead and just get the battery tray installed, and we'll get back to you once it's dry, and we'll carry on with our steps. All right, guys, so we went ahead and installed the battery tray. I put some rubberized spray on it, and we're just gonna line it up. We got our bolts right here. 13 mil heads will go right here, as I said before. Let's get them lined up and started. All right. Okay, as you can see, I got quite a bit of anti-seize installed onto these. I'm going to have my fingers looking like the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz. So you still want to make sure you don't cross thread those bolts to get started. Just take your time. Just work them in with your fingers. Like with me doing this install, it was just a 3/8 ratchet and a 1/4 inch ratchet. So 13, 8 are your sizes you're gonna need. So when I took these out, I had a little bit of issue with these bolts being really tight here on the fender. So I had to put a little bit of penetrating fluid on them to work them out a little bit. I didn't want to snap the bolts. That's all right. So let's go ahead and get our ratchet. And go ahead and start working these in. Bit. Let's see if we can get this one in. Now, a lot of the work that I do is strictly out of Walmart Stanley 3/8 1/4 inch sockets that you could get at Walmart, and you'd be surprised the amount of work you can do just out of this tool set right here. I mean, I had it for quite some time. Like I pretty much do 99% of my work with that toolkit, just because it's just handy. It's just one of those things that it's just easier to grab that and go than spend all the time digging around looking through all your wrenches. You know how that goes. Start a project, a couple things get set down, and now you're in the middle of looking for that 10 mil socket, 3/8 socket. Are usually the most common ones lost. But yeah, it's Stanley socket set. I've never ever had an issue with it breaking a socket. The ratchet's fairly decent. Kind of like, you know, similar to a snap-on, but not quite as good. And then again, you know, where it has some of the quality of the snap-on really gone. But like I said, you don't need overpriced tools to do simple tasks. Okay. I know some of you guys would want to get in here with the impact gun and just zip these in real quick. You know, I'm just not a big fan about that, because that's how bolts get broke, and you just can cross thread the fastener. Alright, and I'm not really trying to extract a bolt. So we got that in. Let's go ahead and put the final tightness on here. Just snug these up. Just make sure they're not going to back out. You don't want to over torque them. Torque spec, it's probably, I'm guessing 8 to 12 foot-pounds. Like I said, it's not a critical torque spec here, unless you're out, you know, desert racing. You don't want the battery jumping up out of here. So Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, good there. Okay, good. All right, now we got our bolts, the 8mm bolts for our bracket for the windshield wash reservoir, 8mm. Okay, yeah, I just made that difficult for myself because I put the tray in and now I have to reach down there and put that bolt in. Great. Don't do like I did. That tray's gonna come right back out. All right, guys, so it's really simple. We'll catch you on the next one. Other than that, it's just simply installing the battery. All right, have a good one. Okay, so the bolt down here, it is manageable to get it in and tighten it up. Yeah, you just gotta use a little bit of finesse to get to it. And I'm using a 1/4-inch ratchet. Just go ahead and get in there and just tighten that up. We already got it tight. And we'll go ahead and tighten bolt up here as well. Don't forget this clip right here for the wire. It pops in right here, so you wanna make sure that's good. We don't have to kill these fasteners for the reservoir. They're only 8mm, so you're probably looking at a few inch-pounds there to tighten these down. All right, I probably wouldn't tighten these down more than 2 foot-pounds. You know, so that right there should be good. And we'll move up to this one right here. Let's use the finger. Just work this in. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put on an extension. So we got a little bit of travel here. Okay. 1 second here, it's kind of hard to do with one hand. This ratchet I got is a push release. Oh, now we're dropping sockets. Okay. Okay, all right, so we got the 6-inch extension installed. All right. Okay. Let's get repositioned there. Should be ready to, oh, still got to spin it a little bit more. Alright, there we go. Yeah, when you get into filming and you're trying to do everything with one hand and bring the ratchet back and forth, I don't know if this ratchet was getting stuck or hung up. I think it was kind of getting hung up a little bit. We want to make sure all these are good. Are good. Good. And the one down here, we know that's already good, but you can't reach in here with that extension. That's pretty much it. Next step would be to install the battery. So right here's the battery. I used to run the interstates. Well, there's no interstate near here locally where I live. So the next better warranty is the Walmart Ever Start. So with that, just go ahead, pick it up in here. Drop it down again. Yeah, first make sure you put the battery in the right direction, which I did not. Okay, so let's do this again. Pick it up. spin it, drop it in. Okay. Okay, we got it seated back into the area. All right, now we can get in there and make sure we're good with everything. And then we could just go ahead and install positive terminal. And like I said, you want to tighten that down with an 8mm wrench or a 6-point socket. Then we got our battery hold down that you're going to see right down here. We do have the rubber piece. Notice how it's got the concave. It's going to fit right inside there. Make sure you have plenty of anti-seize on this bolt so it doesn't get rusted in place. When you need to remove it, you can actually remove it. 6-inch extension, 8mm. Okay, I'm just gonna run it in by hand. And like I said, if you have the preference of electric tool, go ahead and use that. Like I said, I usually like to use ratchets. That's just the way I've been. All right, a lot of people will over tighten this bolt. You just gotta snug it up. Watch that. Go down there and clamp on the battery. Just make sure it's not gonna jump out of there. People will over tighten it, break the bolt, then it gets rusty. You can no longer remove the bolt, it breaks, and people don't want to spend an arm and a leg on a new battery hold down. At the same time, you don't want to have this too loose where it will come loose and the battery will jump out and it will arc out and cause a fire. So they have it in there for a reason, and that's one of the main reasons. All right, so we got that tightened up. And our last step would be to go ahead and just tighten your terminals on, and we're going to get in there and do that. Then we'll put the batteries back on the truck, because I keep them disconnected so I don't have a bunch of parasitic draw. So I don't start this truck enough and drive it. So we'll tighten up the positive side. Like I said, I don't drive this truck enough, not just because it's a 6.0 or anything like that. Is the fuel doesn't make it economical for driving it for the cost of fuel. I mean, it's ridiculous. Over $5 a gallon for diesel. It's not worth my time spending all that time to get in here and do that. So put the battery terminal on. All right. Notice I had a little zap there, like we were pulling voltage from somewhere. Okay, we'll go in here and we'll get the other one. We'll set that on. We're just gonna set that down. And yep, I don't have the key out here with me, so I'll have to go inside to get that. We'll see you guys back here in a second. All right, so now we got the power on. We're going to just do a operations check. Push in the button down here on the Ford. Check out a look at the windshield. All right. Wipers are working. All right. Getting good spray. Okay, that's good. Wipers are working. All right, good enough. All right, so I just got the windshield cover in here. Like I said, I don't drive this truck enough. Go ahead and shut it off. Then we'll go ahead and go do a cold start for this truck. Ford 6-liter with International. All right, instant startup. Like I said, I don't start this truck often, but when I do, I use it for quite some time. One last thing that I got for this truck, and I'll show it to you here. It's on your fuel filter with a 1/2 inch inside there. It got a crack, so we don't want to deal with that. Windshield wash works. Truck starts. Go ahead and just shut it down. All right. So go ahead and, like I said, we'll go back in and we'll talk about the fuel filter cap. All right. So the fuel filter cap here in the engine bay. I'm not gonna stand and show you guys. Fuel filter cap here. All right. So the proper size for this is 24 millimeter. Okay. What happened? Somebody put a like a ratchet inside there, and it cracked. So I had to go pick up a new cap today. And I did not want to come back and do this again and not replace this cap. So I was down at Ford, and they charged me like $75 for that cap. I thought it was expensive, like at $50 when I looked at it like a year ago. It's just incredible with some of the prices, you know, where they're at now with certain things. But that's just what it is. So with that being said, you know, we'll go ahead and carry on with this and wrap this video up. So if you got any comments, questions, you know, leave them in the comments, and we'll help you out. And see a whole lot of videos here on how to replace your windshield wash motor. I'm sure they're pretty much the same for a bunch of different models, but I just want to, you know, get this done to give you guys an update on how to do this procedure from start to finish. Other than that, have a good day. Thanks for watching.